We want to get this thing on the road, make sure everything's running good, so when the springtime comes around, we're ready to rock and roll. Now, I got a couple of things I'm going to show you what we're working on this time around. We got the carburetors to rebuild. Now, inside each one of these ports, you can see how nasty it is inside there. Nasty. The distributor, I'm going to show you that one. Wow, I'm surprised this thing even started. There's a good shot. That's how rusty and corroded and nasty the distributor is. I tell you what, let's go through the intro. Let's get started. I am absolutely amazed this thing ran. It ran like, you guys heard it in the last video, this thing ran like a piece of shit. This ran like garbage. Holy cow. So, new cap, new rotor, obviously, because here's the rotor. I always lock my distributors out just because there's so many times at that lower RPM, especially if this is a real LS6 that's in here with 11-to-1 and cast iron heads and all that, I'm gonna want that advance in almost right off the bat because you're just gonna follow out plugs. It's gonna run like garbage. I'm just gonna do that. I don't know the pistons in it. I am gonna stick a camera down it just to see if it's a flat top. This thing's only 8.5-to-1. If it has at least a dome on it, then we might be 9.5, 10-to-1. I mean, an 11-to-1 454 with open chamber cylinder heads, you would have a nice size dome. So we'll check into that as well. Now, let me show you what I got going on here on the bench. We're gonna zip these bad boys apart, go through them, make sure everything's working properly, get them back on the car. Now, I've heard it enough times where, man, why don't you get rid of those Edelbrock carburetors? Put on a pair of, 750 double pumpers. Okay, I understand where you guys are coming from. One, the way that this intake is set up, you would have to have the carburetor sideways, like what would be on a tunnel ram or what would be on a blower. Yeah, it ain't working. Now, at that point, you could run a pair of 660s. Guys, I get it. I've ran Edelbrocks and Carters, and I really haven't had that much problem with them. So for you guys that are struggling, and it's like, man, these things are such POSs, and they just don't work and all that. I've never really had that bad of a problem. Would I run it on a straight-up race car? No. Street car, having a little bit of fun? Yeah, they work fine, you guys. So we're going to go through, we're going to throw these rebuild kits in them, and I'm just going to set them up, tune them up, let them rock and roll. Let's see how it runs. Could be wrong. I'll be the first one to apologize to you guys. So if you've never seen inside an Edelbrock carburetor, this is what it looks like. So there's one that's not disassembled. This one is pretty much disassembled. Now, you can see inside here all the chunky stuff. Now, I've already poured this thing out. Now, inside each one of these ports, you can see how nasty it is inside there. Nasty. I've already pulled out some chunks of goo and crap like that. Now, there's the boosters. I don't know why I'm using the flashlight. There's the boosters. There are my jets. And you can see how just corroded and nasty these are. This is basically going to sip inside of these right here. So your bowls are going to fill up, and then it's going to draw it from down below. Well, this being all nasty, and I've already, like I said, pulled some chunks out of there. It's hard to see inside there, but you can see how just corroded it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and just kind of scrub them all out with carb cleaner, probably like a little bit of a wire brush, some Q-tips, things like that. Make sure we get it thoroughly cleaned, and then we're just going to put this thing back together. That's it. So I'm going to go through each one of those. And then the kit itself, this is pretty much like your accelerator pump here. You get new seals, new spring that fits inside here, all new gaskets, all this stuff that I would need for like the squirter. These gaskets are going to be for the boosters and things like that. It's pretty much just a straight basic cleanup, fresh gaskets, fresh seals. We're done. Move on to the next. Might have found one of the big culprits of why the carburetors weren't working so good. When you take out your needle and seats, your float bowls and all that, this is everything that's going to come into it. This is actually your needle. This is your seat. And inside here, that fits inside of this portion, that would be those two holes that are right there. That's where your floats go from. And then obviously that's your feed side. Well, you're going to have these little guys, these little filters that you can see are not exactly the cleanest thing on the planet. Yeah. Now, in the kit, we get brand new ones, all that stuff. But that right there, if you're not getting fuel into the bowls, well, that's going to be one of the biggest reasons why we're having our problems. So when I sprayed this out, I sprayed it through here, I sprayed through these, it was like root beer coming out of here. It was so nasty. So that right there is probably the biggest reason why. I mean, we had, you know, subtleties inside here, inside the main body, that you can see is all cleaned out. I went through all the ports, everything there, cleaned those out. Nothing super bad. There was just some gunk and some, you know, just some dirt and things like that, and some rust that was in there from, you know, probably inside the gas tank when they had the old nasty gas in it. Try to put fresh gas in it and cycle it through, and well, like I said, you can see on these little screens here, yeah, that's pretty bad. And then what we're supposed to have are, yeah, you can see the screens right there. That's your new screen. And this is all the new needle and seats that I'm going to put in it. So that right there is probably the main reason why the carburetors are just running like crap. So what kind of diagnosis you got going on over here, man? Figure we haven't gotten an update on the poppers. Door panels are off.
I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the poppers, but it's a one wire. So I'm assuming it runs off the ground. But they use brown wires for everything, and it's so tucked. Everything's tucked. It's very clean underneath this car.
So what you're saying is this is like an Ace Hardware special wiring setup.
Yeah, they use brown wires with all these tap-ins.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sitting here trying to figure out which power's coming in, because they're not, I don't know, they're not lining up for where they should be on the relays. So I think that's why it's popping the relays. I don't know.
You gonna try to get that thing out of the door, or?
No, not a chance. I'll never be able to put that back in. I can't see. I don't know how they did it, to be honest. It wasn't a one-person job, I'll tell you that. I mean, I get my hand in here, and there's only it's a one wire. Come in here. There's two wires. It's like a doorbell switch, so it's got to be a ground, right?
Yeah, I mean, I figure that thing itself is grounding out because you only have the one wire going in.
But I can't, trying to trace them underneath the frame, and everything's ran so tight. So I tried to jump it underneath right here. Try to jump them, nothing. Really don't want to take the door panel off over there, because the way the door panel was on, it was essentially put on to be
never taken off again. Yeah. And why would you put door poppers in there if you? Because you're gonna have to take them apart.
Yeah.
Haha, all right, there we go. Simple enough. Now you can see how I cleaned everything up here. It's pretty simple, you guys. First thing that I end up doing with these things, you're gonna pop that distributor gear off, pull off the shims, pull off the little pin that's inside here. Make sure you keep all of that stuff separate. You know, it's in its own little pile there. Then all you're gonna do is just take this thing, slide it apart. Once you slide it apart, then you're gonna find out the top section. We're gonna wanna get rid of that, but we're also gonna wanna get rid of the springs and the weights, because we're gonna lock this thing out. So we get rid of the springs, we get rid of the weights, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it from one side that's got a big hole in it to a small hole that's in it, and what that does is that's what locks it in. All we're doing is spinning this 180 degrees. It's just take that, spin it 180 degrees, lock it in, and then all we're gonna do is we're just gonna bolt the thing back down. Once we do that, then I'm also gonna take it apart, and then I'm going to wire brush the pickups on this thing. Now, you can see here, I'm not really worried about getting all the rust that's in between there. All I care about is getting these main surfaces, because that's what the whole portion of the magnetic pickup, that's the signal. That's where it's gonna get it from. So we want nice, fresh, clean metal. Then I'm just gonna go through this thing, and I just wire brushed just a lot of the loose rust off this thing, just because, and I wanted to make sure that the magnetic pickup itself didn't have any corrosion on it or anything like that. So all of that was perfectly clear on that. But the poppers that you ended up finding were $400 frickin' poppers.
Yeah, so it saves Joe free. You got $400 for the whole kit.
Yeah.
She didn't need a kit because
We got everything to work.
so it's the ground and the remote
Connected.
They
It's screwed up.
And and then they have them jump to the relays, and then the other relay, and then they have those jump together for the same power coming out of like a Pico, GM Pico, like adapter.
Yeah.
Which I ordered a new one, so I need one anyways. But a couple new fuses, ground it right.
Yeah, we literally just grounded it to the body, just crab clawed it, grounded it to the body, hit the button, and pop, pop. And I ended up checking the numbers on this thing. I figured out the part number. I went to another piston and all that. They are GM part numbered LS6 454 pistons.
What year?
70.
70.
So it's 11 to 1 then.
Yeah, well, that's the only
But you've got
rectangle port heads.
rectangle port open chamber.
Yeah.
A 70 is a closed chamber motor, I think. Yeah.
I thought they were open chambered.
I could be wrong. Yeah.
Well, those have open chambered 990 heads and all that stuff on it. So when I started digging through, that's when I told Joe, I'm going, hey, it's got,
Leave it as
those
is.
would be
Yeah.
GM forged TRW made them for him. So at that point, that's awesome. So he's like, what do you think it's making? What do you think it's making? I would say you do a stock LS6 with a set of headers, MSD, and that intake, it's 480.
270.
Yeah, 270.
This thing, it probably was.
Yeah, with how it was running, yeah, it was probably only about 270. I'd tell him, I told him, I said, you're probably 475, 480-ish, somewhere in there. So it should definitely run a lot better after we get rid of all these nasty plugs. And, they haven't made that style of AC Delco. They've done these where it says AC Delco, but the old green AC Delco, yeah, guys, they haven't touched these in a couple of decades. So, yeah, those are some relic plugs. But the carburetors are done. I'm going to get those put on. We're going to drop the distributor in. I got to verify timing on this thing, or at least set it up on TDC so I can drop the distributor in.
I was like,
You want to take the Camaro off?
I was thinking about it. It's stupid. I'm like a Harley rider. I'm a fair weather driver.
It's not like when we didn't have a windshield in it. It was like, hey, let's just put on let's just put on some frickin' hoodies and call it a day.
Or when I was sitting on the floor of Joe's car, on a bucket, no seat, no nothing.
You want to know what a 9-second pass feels like? No, I don't. What?
Push harder, give it all. Rise every time you fall. Walls are meant to be destroyed. Pure strength is your only void. Run wild, run wild.
Looking as good as new. Carburetors are in, distributors in, fuel lines hooked back up. We're all ready to rock and roll on that. Now I have to go through and figure out that goofy ass throttle cable. I'm going to see if I can still somehow reuse it. Not quite sure yet. I'll get that one figured out. But just to show you guys what's going on in the interior side, besides the popper portion of it, oh, the old man and Nick have been working on the windows here. They got the driver's side window done. Yeah, you can see how nice and smooth that moves now.
Bring this one up a little bit more.
But this passenger one that the old man's on right now, this one they haven't touched yet. And it is just
Keep going.
super slow.
Keep going. Behind this, there's two pieces that go like this, and I found out that they've been scraping. So I put a lot of grease and oil on it, and that was one of the biggest things toward getting the opposite window to work. So it's just a matter of getting my hands in like this and kind of guessing at things. I'm making sure also that none of these pieces right here, which are moving up and down, are bent, because sometimes they get bent in that track right there. So that's what I'm feeling for. So Nick's on the other side. He just keeps going back and forth, and I'm watching pieces move.
So we're going to keep cracking the whip on this canary popper. We're coming up with so many different names for this truck. Who knows, man? Put them down in the comment if you guys got anything.
Tweety Pie.
Tweety Pie?
Remember from the old Bugs Bunny cartoons?
Oh, Tweety Bird? Tweety Pie? Or you can do Tweety Pie. Well, we'll get this thing up on the road, hopefully get it outside, do a couple of little smoky burnouts, see how bad this LS6 can actually roast a tire in this thing. So wait till next week. You guys will see some more on this. We're going to end up changing the mufflers around on this. We'll get it up, get it running good. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get this thing out and about, tear it up. So till we meet again, my friends, hopefully you're working out in your garages, working on some hot rods. Get out there to the track, car shows. Keep the love going. See ya.